Hi, this is Mark from Wiki Design. In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily make your images scroll on hover. This can be a great way for the user to interact with your larger images. In this example, I'm going to show you a few different ways we can use this effect. And the best part is this can all be done with the free version of Elementor and not using any sort of custom CSS, JavaScript, or plugins. So I'm going to separate this out into 3 different sections. And on the first one, I'm going to show you how you can easily add an effect like this, where you can showcase a really tall website. So in this case, I have our homepage for Wiki Design, and I wanted to have it where the user can just easily go into a column or section and be able to just scroll it right here. And in the second example, I'm going to show you how you can do the same thing where you can flip the direction. So in this case, I have it where I have 2 columns, 2 different images, and you can see that it starts from the bottom and goes up to the waterfall. And then you can see on this one, it's a very slow effect where you're just kind of going down the page. And in the third section, I'm going to show you how I was able to animate this right here full width. So this right here is a large image, and the user can hover over it, and it will animate from the top left all the way down to the bottom right. And then when the user leaves, it goes back. So I'm going to show you how I was able to pull all of these effects off just using Elementor. Here we are on the back end of the website. And as you can see, I have this all organized. I have the 3 different sections, and I have this right here. This is called a spacer. So this is how we're going to pull this effect off. So if you just go into your widgets and you just search for the word spacer, you just click and drag that into any column. So in this case, I already have this effect in here. And if you're not familiar with what spacers are, it's basically just like an empty widget. So once you pull in the spacer, the first thing you need to do is decide how high you want the spacer. So in this case, I have this mock-up at 800 pixels wide, and it's pretty tall. Let me see how tall it is exactly. So in this case, I have this mock-up image at 800 by 1590. So as you can see, let me copy this URL so you can see what it looks like. This is what the mock-up looks like. So like I said, it's 800 pixels wide, and then it's 1590. So you always want to make sure that if you're going from the top down, you got to make sure that you have an image that is higher than the height of your spacer. Hope that makes sense. So this was 1590. So you're going to want to make sure that your spacer isn't at 1590. You want to make sure it's at something smaller. So in this case, 600 is perfect. It just fills up this height right here. And what you can do to control the width, you can always just change it right here. So in this case, we have a box 800 pixels. So like I said, this is 800 pixels wide. In most cases, you're going to want to make sure that your row or your spacer, it always kind of fits the width of your image. So this worked out perfect. I have an 800 pixel width for the layout, and then the minimum height, this is just the section background. You can change this to whatever. So in this case, I just want to have a little space on the top and bottom. So that's how you kind of get it set up. Then what you need to do is under the spacer widget, all the magic is happening right underneath the background. So when you first open it up, of course, you're not going to have any background type. You're going to want to go ahead and just click this and upload your image, or if you already have it uploaded to your media library, just go ahead and select it. Now I'm going to show you these next steps, and this is where everything is kind of happening. So the first thing is you want to make sure, if you want to go scrolling from the top down, you want to make sure that your position is at top center. So that means that it's starting out at the very top and in the center. And then you can keep default for the attachment, repeat, make sure it's either default or no repeat. And then this is where you're going to want to change in this example. Make sure you just change it to cover. So if you switch around, you can see auto will fill it up. Cover will make sure it covers the whole width of the container. And if you select contain, you can see it gets really messy. It starts to repeat itself. And this is what a contain looks like when you have no repeat on. It's just going to fit the whole height and the width inside the container. So in most cases, you probably don't ever want to use contain. And then you can always use custom. If you need to customize the width of these things, you could do it right here. And so if you go up to 800, it would be the same as if we chose cover. But they already have this feature called cover. So let's just go ahead, make sure that's on cover. And then where the effect is actually happening is when the user is on hover, you want to make sure that you have the same background and you just change the position. So you just click right here, classic, and make sure you select the same exact image. And instead of the top bottom, you just change it to bottom center. That's it. That's what is calling this effect right here. As soon as I mouse over, it's going from the top center to the bottom center. So it's a very easy way to pull this off. And then you just want to make sure everything else is the same as the normal state. So we got default, default, cover. And then this right here is how fast the transition is going to take. So you can go ahead and change this to something really fast so you can see. It takes 1.2 seconds to go from top to bottom. So you can see that's like very fast. So anything that you want to put in here, you can actually preview it right here in the editor. So let's go ahead and say if you want something really slow, like a 20, it will crawl very slow. So just play around with these numbers, and whatever is going to look good, for your website, just plug that number in there and just keep it at whatever is going to look good. So in this case, I think 10 is not bad. And you could see when the user leaves that container and they come back in, it would just re-pick up from where it stopped. So that's a very cool feature within here. So you don't have to custom code anything. So that's how you do the very first example. Now I'm going to go into the second example and show you how you can do it, but in the opposite direction. And here we are in the second example, and it's the same exact thing, but you just need to swap out the normal and hover states. So I just wanted to show you how you can pull this effect off in multiple columns. So you're not limited to just using one column or anything like that. So in this example, I wanted to show you, I have two different columns right here and two different images. So if I just go into here, you can see that I have the spacer at 300 pixels high, and then this next one at 300 pixels high. And let's go ahead and show you same exact thing. You just go into the widget spacer, advanced, and then under background, you just want to go ahead and choose the same features we had before. But instead of starting from the top, you do bottom center, and on hover, you do top center. It's as simple as that. So you can see how easy it is to reverse these things. So you can see when the user hovers over this image, it will go up and then come back down. And then I wanted to just show this example where I have it where it's going pretty slow. For an image this high, I have it going at 10. So if you wanted something very subtle, you can always go to a 20. So the user can just see that there's some movement on the image. So whatever you want to put in there. But I just wanted to show how you're not limited to just using one column. You can throw in this at any grid level and it will work just as well. And here we are in the last section right here. And this is a little more advanced, but nothing that's too complicated. So as you can see, I have the section, column, spacer, just like all the other ones up here. But in this case, I wanted to have it where you can see right here I have the section selected, and I have the container width at full width instead of a box layout. So this is going to fill up the whole width of the container. So you can see right here that it's filling up the whole width. And it's the same exact thing where I have a regular spacer, and in this case I wanted to have it around 900 pixels. But if you wanted to have it where it fills up the whole screen completely, you can click on VH and then just put in 100 right here. So what that means is it's going to fill up the view height within the browser. So let me go ahead, hit update, and show you what that looks like on the front end. So if I scroll down on the website, you can see right here that it's going to fill up the whole entire screen. So it's the full width, and now I have it where it's filling up the whole view height of the browser. So you can see that it is animating all the way down and filling up the whole screen. And so what I did in this one was I uploaded an image that was really wide, and then I'm just having it start from the top left and go to the bottom right. So it's pretty simple. What you do is you go into your background just like the other ones, and you're going to want to go ahead and upload a larger image. So in this case, this image is 2747 by 1600. So in most cases, the height of the browser shouldn't go over like 1,000, depending on the browser. But that's why you want to make sure that you have more space on the left and right and top and bottom. Whereas in the very first example, if you remember, we were very strict. It needed to be exactly 800 pixels wide and only so high. So what I did in this one is I started from the center left. You can start from the top left if you want. So it will start up here. And then on hover, bottom right. And pretty much everything else is the same. The one thing that was different here is instead of cover, I have it at default. You can see right here that when you go to cover, it's going to try to fill up the height of the image right here. So that was the 1600. It's going to try to compress that and like bring it into the container. So we want to have it where it's kind of animating off the screen, kind of gives a cool effect. So let's go ahead and on hover, we do position bottom right. So it starts where my mouse is right here and we'll go all the way down here. So it's a pretty cool little effect, and just same thing, default for all these. And the transition, I just have it at 15. So if we just hit update, we can see that it goes from the top left now when the user is moused over on this, and it will go to the bottom right. So this could be a good example where you could have something down here like a promo code or something hidden where the user is going to have to interact with your image to see it. So there's a lot of cool use cases for this. And what I love about it is it's really easy to pull off. And the good thing about using the spacer widget to pull this off is that you can work with it on responsive mode. So let's go ahead into this one, for example. And what I like about it is you can see right here on mobile, I have it going from left to right rather than it filling up the whole screen. Because on mobile, it wasn't that great of a way to utilize the spacer widget. So what I did is, if you can see right here on the normal state, I do have it go to cover. Because if I change this to default, you're going to see it looks like that. So it's very zoomed in. Let me go into hover. You can see that on mobile device, it's scaled up too much. So we want to be able to actually scale it down. And so in this use case, using cover would work really well. So I went into here and changed it to cover. So it just kind of goes from the top left, or it's more like the center left, and just kind of going to the right. And you may have noticed that when I did hover over this last section, the cursor moves as if there's a link here, and there actually is. So if I click on this, it will go into our existing website. So by default, Elementor doesn't make it easy to add clickable sections or columns. So what I do recommend as an added bonus, if you want to pull this off, you can do this very easily with this plugin right here. It's called Make Column Clickable Elementor. You could pull this off using JavaScript, but in this case, let's just keep it real easy. So what I like about this plugin is, let me go back to desktop mode, is when you click on the column under layout, you're going to see this new thing right here called column link. And that's all you have to do. You just add your link in here, and then you can have it open in a new window. What's also really nice about this plugin is that there's a lot of dynamic tags that you can pull in. So you could have it where the user would click on it, it could pull up a light box or a pop-up, pretty much anything that Elementor can handle, even advanced custom fields. So if you have a use case where you do need to have your sections or your columns clickable, I highly recommend that plugin. And that's it for this video. Make sure that you give it a like, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and hit that bell to receive notifications when I release new Elementor tutorials like this. Again, this is Mark from Wiki Design.